Hey guys, my name is David and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be telling you what my favourite books were for 2022. This isn't going to be in a list from my least favourite one to my top book or top read of 2022. So this isn't going to be in any order because I couldn't really be bothered to, and it's just really hard to put all these books in a in a specific order. So I have come up with 9 books. I was writing down all the books I liked on Goodreads that I read last year, and it just happened to come to the number 9. Also, if you disliked any of these books, that is great. But this is just my own thoughts and feelings regarding these books. These are ones that I really enjoyed. So please keep that in mind. Also, I will be excluding rereads that I did of books last year. So books like The Hobbit and The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy won't be included in this list because, they're just easy things for me to put on it. But if you want to include them on the list unofficially, then by all means do so. So the first book is The Green Mile by Stephen King. Don't really have to say anything about this one. Everyone knows what this is all about. About a man on death row that seems to be more than what he is or what he appears to be. This book originally came out in about 5 or 6 volumes, these short novella stories, and then at the end, or ultimately, it was combined into one novel. But this book is really good. Apart from it being the Stephen King book, it's not horror, it's more of a... It's really hard to tell what The Green Mile is and describe a specific genre because it's many things. But if you have watched the movie, then I would do yourself a favour and read the book. Yes, there isn't much that differentiates between the two. There are some slight differences, but I really enjoyed The Green Mile. Next was Deadhead by Sean Hudson. This is about the adult film industry and how a man's daughter is kidnapped and held ransom in this industry or by this organization, by members of this whole firm thing. You actually get the point. And they have to try to save her. It's very raunchy and different and violent, but I love Sean's writing style. It's so easy to read and his characters are so engaging. I love his characters. They are so good. Uzumaki by Junji Ito. To be fair, I could have put every single one of Junji Ito's work that I read last year on this list, kind of excluding Censor because I wasn't really a massive fan about that one. But Uzumaki is about a town that is cursed with these spirals, these like spiral shapes, and everyone that sees them, they change, they transform, they die, and it affects people in different ways. And it's just about this slow progression about how this town slowly but surely dissolves into itself. It's really difficult to describe that story, it really is, but it's a manga and it's horror, and I'm always impressed by what Junji Ito does, and every single thing I read about him I'm always impressed by. So yeah, that's what I loved about that book. I highly recommend it. Next was Skullduggery Pleasant by Derek Lanley. This was recommended to me strongly by a work colleague, and this is about a skeleton detective. Think about Harry Dresden and transform him into a living skeleton with a very sarcastic sense of humour, and that's basically what you get. It knows when to be funny and it knows when to be serious, but I had a lot of fun reading it. And last year I did read the sequel, and I cannot wait to continue reading the other books in the series. But yeah, I had a lot of fun reading that book. Next was The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. Now I'm only including the novel in this, in this list. I'm not including the graphic novel. The graphic novel is okay. The graphic novel is more or less like the book, but for this list I'm only including the actual novel. This is about a boy that, as a baby, his life has been put in danger and at risk, and as a result he goes and finds sanctuary at a graveyard where he befriends a group of ghosts, all the ghosts in the graveyard, and they protect him. And it's just a really, really weird story, and I really, really loved it. Next was The Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne. This is book 1 in his Bloodsworn saga or trilogy, or however many books he wants to write on it. This is a fantasy grimdark book, and to describe it is very, very difficult. This world used to have all these massive beasts, these massive animals that represented gods, like a snake, wolf, a dragon, and all that type of stuff. But these gods got into a massive fight with each other, and as a result, it caused all this chaos and destruction, and as a result they all died. So all the humans in this world kind of said, right, we don't want to have anything to do with the gods, they have gone, we have got basically to pick up all the pieces. And we follow numerous characters in this story, mostly 3 characters. One which is a mother who is trying to avenge the death of her husband and retrieve her kidnapped son. We have a freed, or supposedly freed, slave that is trying to find out what happened to his sister. And we are also following a rogue princess, it's probably the best way of describing that character, who is trying to outrun her past and trying to find her own identity and her own self in this harsh and cruel world. It's a really, really good story. I had a lot of trouble putting this book down, and I loved it so much. I am currently reading book 2 right now. I'm doing a buddy read with book 2, and even though it's good, it seems to be more bigger, and it includes way more characters in it, but I'll go for that when I do my video on it. But it's okay. It's not as good as book 1, but yeah. Book 1, Shadow of the Gods, is and was one of my favourite books of last year. Next was Code Red by R. St. Clair, or Regina St. Clair. This was fantastic. This is a novel that was written by Regina's Haunted Library, and this is a horror book based around vampires. And on the cover it says the vampires have taken over the asylum. There is a mental asylum in this book, but the main story doesn't focus around just on the asylum or in the asylum. It's more of a infestation where all the vampires are kind of at the asylum and they kind of leak out into the town, and it's a survival story, and it's a lot of fun. So I can't wait to read more from Regina this year, if this is what she's capable of writing. The next book was a massive, massive shock for me, because I knew about this book, but I would have never picked it up. But it was recommended to me by Marissa Bailey, and she did a video on it, and she highly recommended it. So I thought, okay, I'll buy a cheap copy of it on eBay, and I will see what the big deal is. This focuses around a young boy who I think is supposed to be unlikable. He is kind of expelled from his school, and he's just trying to bide his time so when he can go back home so his parents don't hit the roof. And he goes on all these, I won't say adventures or journeys, but he goes through all these events, and it's just a really, really calming book. I would have never thought that this would be a really great book for me, and a book that I really enjoyed, and a book that I wouldn't mind going back to and giving a reread for it. In fact, if I'm ever in a reading slump, fingers crossed I am never in that position, but if I am, that's the book that I'm going to be reading to hopefully get me out. And the last book on this list is The Children God Forgot by Graham Masterton. This is a horror novel based around all these deformed children living in a sewer, and all these deformed fetuses as well, and these detectives have to try to find out why this is, and there's this smoke woman that's always protecting the kids, and it goes in depth with what's in the sewer, you know, what's going all through these pipes and the sewage and the shit and the you know, wet wipes and all that stuff. It can get pretty disgusting, but I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun reading it, and I cannot wait to read more from Graham, you know, when the time comes. So guys, that has been my favourite books of 2022. Let me know if you have read any of these books. Let me know if I've maybe encouraged you to pick them up and give them a try. I'm pretty sure I've done videos on all these books. Pretty sure. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I've done video reviews for all these books, so if you want to get more of an in-depth, spoiler-free discussion and my thoughts about them, then please check them out on my channel. But let me know if you've read any of these. Let me know what you thought about them. Let me know if I've maybe encouraged you to pick them up and give them a try. I am going to be doing my worst reads of 2022 very, very soon, so please keep an eye open for that one. I think it's going to be the fun video out of the two. I mean, let me know down below. Are you guys more intrigued to see best or worst lists? So guys, I better leave it there. So with all that out the way, I'll see you on my next one.